Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's MCKOOKIE. So in this video I wanted to talk about my overall thoughts and impressions on the Nemesis and some changes I would like to see, because I actually really like playing as him. I played him a lot. I have about 2 or 3 hours played on him, and I've won most of my games. I've gotten a lot of 4Ks. Some of them have been down to the wire, and most of them have been against really good survivors, and I'm happy to say that in his current state, I think Nemesis holds up well to good survivors. But there's a handful of changes I would like to see that I would really think would put him in like a solid A tier, because right now he's kind of like a strong B tier, mid tier killer. But some changes I like to see I think would really make him a great killer. And the main one is I want it so that when you hit a survivor for the first time and you're only contaminating them, they should not get a sprint burst. Like right there, I hit this Nia with my tentacle, and she gets a sprint burst, but she hasn't taken any damage. She's not injured yet. She's only infected. And that's another thing too. With him, you can only use your tentacle attack to do damage if you've already hit them once to initially contaminate them. So basically the way it goes, survivors can either get contaminated by your tentacle attack or by a zombie hitting them, and I'll talk more about the zombies in a little bit. But right now it feels like he's Pyramid Head with 3 health states, and it's not a good feeling, honestly, to smack a survivor with your tentacle, which is not the easiest thing to land, by the way, and I'm okay with that. It's a skill shot, which I really like killers that have skill shots. I think it makes the game a lot more enjoyable for both sides, having to land that on your end and the survivor being able to dodge that on their end. I think that's a really good gameplay mechanic. It's some of the better parts of DBD right now. Honestly, I think they need to make it so that if you hit a survivor who's not contaminated and they're only going to get sick from you hitting them, they should not get a speed burst. It should be like Plague. Like when Plague throws up on you and she breaks you, like Plague actually injures you with her vomit and you don't get a speed burst from that. So it doesn't make any sense that, you know, this tentacle attack that's way harder to land than Plague vomiting on you repeatedly. Like Plague can just keep vomiting, you know, and she'll eventually get you. This guy has to land his attacks, and he gets punished pretty hard if he misses. But right now, the fact that he can just hit you, like you hit a survivor, they can just keep holding forward, run to one end of the map, then you have to hit them again. Now they're actually injured, and the chase has actually started. I mean, I felt like there were a lot of games where just 2 gens get done by the time I'm able to down a survivor, just because they get 2 sprint bursts in a single chase, even though they only took actual damage once. So that's the main thing I would change about him. Another thing I'd like to change is he's way too dependent on the add-ons that I'm running in the background. This is the first game I ever played with him, by the way. It was kind of rough. It was on Mother's Dwelling. But anyway, he has an add-on that makes it so he tears up a lot faster from from killing his zombies with his tentacle, and then he has another add-on that levels him a lot faster from hitting survivors with his tentacle. I think those add-ons need to be nerfed, and instead the power of those add-ons needs to be transferred to his base kit, kind of like what they did with Demogorgon and Rat Liver. So basically they nerfed Demogorgon's Rat Liver, which was the add-on that let him move faster as he was holding his mouth open to charge up a shred attack, to charge his pounce attack. They nerfed that add-on but made it so just base kit Demogorgon moves faster when he charges that up. I would like to see Nemesis be able to charge his power faster without having to rely on these add-ons so heavily. It's really kind of boring right now, and he kind of feels like Myers, where you have to have J. Myers Memorial to get good stock out of people. It's the same way here. And another thing with his 3 tiers, I kind of wish that like him hitting level 3 meant a little more than it does. Like, I felt like maybe if only his attack had a little more range, or maybe he recovered a little faster from his attack, just something. Or maybe, I think what they should do is let you simultaneously hit a survivor and break a pallet if they're standing on the other side of a pallet. Not only can you hit the survivor, but you can also break the pallet at the same time. Something that's like, oh my god, this is so scary. Or his zombies should become stronger, like more faster, you know, more alert, as you tier up. So tier 2, you not only does Nemesis become a threat as he levels up, but so do his little zombie army. So I think that would be really cool. So now you have to be more scared of not only him but his zombies. And you know, the last change I like to see, now that I've been bringing up the zombies, I feel like the AI for them is very bad. Like when I was watching streamers play on the PTB, because I'm on PS4 right now, which is why it's lagging and the frame drops are horrendous. On PTB I was watching streamers play, and the zombies were putting in work. They were attacking people left and right, blocking people. They were like, and watching it was so hilarious. I played about 2 or 3 hours of Nemesis, and I only saw zombies infect people maybe like, or actually attack people maybe like 4 or 5 times. And there were times where, like, and I've seen other streamers and stuff as well, they've been talking that they just don't feel as good live, and it's true. Like, the zombies are very lackluster. I've even put up maps like Midwich and Hawkins where you'd think the zombies would be effective, and I've even tried, you know, the add-ons. I've double stacked add-ons with that moderately increase the speed, like depleted ink ribbon, the purple one, and there's also a yellow one that makes them move faster. I've tried the one where there's one that it considerably increases their detection range. The wording on that is weird. I don't know if that means, like, I detect, me, the Nemesis player, I'm able to see my zombies further out, or those zombies are able to detect survivors from further away. But the AI is terrible. Like, I've seen injured survivors run away from me towards a zombie, and just because the zombie's back is to them, the zombie won't turn around. The zombie will literally just ignore. And more times than not, the zombies have actually body blocked me and cucked me in my chases, more so than they have actually, like, helped me out. So right now the zombies are kind of like cannon fodder, where you just whip them to get to level 3, and then once you hit level 3, it's like, okay, it's a really unique part of the game that just doesn't go anywhere. And that kind of sucks to me, because I feel like as they keep adding more killers to this game, there's more of a pressure on behavior to give the killer its own identity. Like, I feel like they really failed with Trickster. Trickster ended up being just a shittier Deathslinger Huntress. Like, why would you play Trickster over playing Huntress? Like, I played Trickster for like an hour and a half straight. I think I lost almost every game because he's just a dog shit killer. And then I switched to Huntress, and I immediately was, like, amazing at Huntress. Like, playing Trickster, trying to win with Trickster, and then going to Huntress actually made me way better at Huntress, because Trickster is like Huntress with ankle weights on. So I feel like they failed with Trickster, and they just added a ranged killer with not a lot of identity there, gameplay-wise. But Nemesis, they did a good job of making him not just Pyramid Head 2.0. Like, he feels a lot different from Pyramid Head. And even his tentacle attack feels a lot more different from Pyramid Head than I thought. It's a lot more snappy, it's a lot more quick. There's a little less reaction time on the survivor end if you time it right. And I feel like it's a really neat ability. And honestly, overall, I have a lot more fun playing him than playing Pyramid. I find Pyramid Head really boring to play, but I find Nemesis a lot of fun, even in this current state where I'm on PS4. Apparently all the old gen consoles right now with this new update are getting hit with frame rate spikes. Every time I whip out the tentacle, my frames go to like 12. So once they fix that out, he'll actually be a lot easier for me to play. But even in his current state, he still feels pretty good. But yeah, I would love if the zombies had better AI. Like, they need to just be better. They need to be more effective. They need to help out more. Because right now I feel like they're not even a minor annoyance. They just don't do anything. And it's a whole part of his kit that's just underutilized. And as far as the whole contamination thing, it's kind of annoying having to hit people 3 times in general. That's why I feel like the getting rid of the sprint burst is a necessary thing. Because right now, like, say that you infect a survivor, you put them on a hook, whatever, now they're infected. When they go to get their vaccine, and there's quite a few of them, I think there's 4 or 5 default, and they don't even need to run through all of them by the time the gens get done, to be honest. It's very annoying that, like, if you catch a survivor who hasn't been infected yet, it feels like you can't even use your power against them. It kind of has that vibe of, like, old Freddy before he got reworked, where you couldn't really interact or damage a survivor until you pulled them into the dream world. Obviously, it's not that bad because you can more quickly hit a survivor with your tentacle attack than Freddy would take. I think even with Pill Bottle, old Freddy took forever to pull people with his cursor into the dream world to interact. But I still don't like that feeling of, I have my power, but I can't really use it because if I do, I'm going to smack them and they're going to get a ton of distance on me. Like, there's been so many times where I just don't feel like using my power, especially late game, and I'm better off just punching people, which is, I love punching people. It's hilarious. But yeah, those are just the changes I'd like to see. Just make it so that they don't get a sprint burst unless they get injured from your whip. Like, if you're just contaminating them, there should be no sprint burst. Make the zombie AI way better, and make it so that he levels up to tier 3 faster without his add-ons, and also make tier 3 matter. The only difference in tier 3 right now is that it's an extra meter of range on his attack over level 2, and that's not really that much. But anyway, guys, that's all I got. I'll leave you with the rest of the gameplay, but that's my thoughts on the Nemesis. I like him a lot. I think they did a really good job, and if they do any of these changes, especially the no sprint burst on contamination, I feel like we're looking at like a really good killer. That's all I got. MCKOOKIE out. DS? No DS. GG.